Hello, this is Friendly Cat. Welcome back to our final episode of our Fascist Ethiopia run. Our peacekeeping efforts will be coming to an end, and perhaps at the end of this episode we'll be able to rest and maybe fish on that little blue Nile after freeing all of our brothers and sisters from Africa and those colonizers. At the end of the last episode, we had landed into the United States and we're heading through Venezuela, ready to capitulate the United States and eventually bring an end to the war with the Allies. We're going to do a little naval invasion across the Caribbean just to kind of speed this up a little bit as we just continue to move along, and I'm pretty optimistic that I can get some naval superiority across that. Well, it's a bit of a stretch of water. We're also now moving toward the heartland of the United States. They don't have enough divisions to cover the entire front line. If I could have maybe done this again, I probably would have put more cavalry out on a giant front line, to speed this up. My naval bomber is I'm just not able to make it work very well. I know it's storming at the moment, that's why I'm not sinking any subs, but I didn't sink very many in this run at all. I put out quite a bit of factories on it, so I put out hundreds of naval bombers. I just couldn't make it work, but again, I'm not very good at this. Here we are looking at the last of the countries we need. After the Allies, we need to take out Australia, and Venezuela is not in a faction, or they haven't at least joined one yet, so if we capitulate them, we will take them immediately to the peace conference. Our motorized troops are on the move, and here we are planning to do a naval invasion. If you ever forget to turn off do not engage, then you're going to have to turn it back on to do a naval invasion. Venezuela falls, and since again they never joined that faction, we'll just take them to the peace conference and take them out. I guess technically they didn't count as a colonizer, but I might have needed them to go through Mexico into the United States. Now look at that nice front line, really late. Should have done this a lot earlier, particularly since there really wasn't a lot of opposition. This will help us capitulate that much quicker. Pakistan declares war on India. I didn't know Pakistan existed, at least in this game. I didn't know they could do that. Let's find out. I don't see them. If you guys see them, that's fantastic. I don't see them in the game, so I don't know how they're declaring war on anybody, to be honest. Our motorized troops are going to beat that naval invasion to Houston very fast, particularly if they've got fuel. So very happy with how well they're doing and how close we are to capitulating the United States. It's kind of deceptively close. Okay, so now they exist. They went to a white peace and then they got to be created out of nothing. I don't remember approving that, but since they're not a colonizer, I will allow it. I will allow Pakistan. I have no reason to go to war with you. The United States is just about ready to capitulate as we pass through San Diego and now into Los Angeles. This long war with the Allies finally comes to an end, and since I'm the only one in the peace conference, I will take everything. Let's see what's next. So the Soviet Union and Spain/Portugal are fighting, and China, are fighting Japan. Very interesting. Well, I know that the Spain/Portugal Iberian group is colonizers, so I want to pick them up. Now, the actual invasion of Australia is lost to the sands of time, but this is what the naval invasion looked like. Naval invasions everywhere. Relatively quick capitulation because we have that advanced naval invasion technology, so I'm able to hit every port everywhere. We also take out Romania while enjoying reading the newspaper about how Australia has capitulated. Yes, very fun times, very fun times. Romania isn't too tough. I'm going to start to use more and more battle planning because we are definitely overpowering every nation that we see. So let's quickly take out Romania. They choose not to join a faction, so we just take everything, primarily to get a larger front against the Soviet Union. I like this little message. So communism is a plague that threatens to make the slaves, not the masters, rule every nation, and I don't like that. I don't know, maybe I kind of do like that, but maybe they just went a little overboard with this kind of these kind of messages. Not Paradox, obviously, but my advisor here in the game. Now I'm the yellow, and I'm going to fight against the yellow. I'm the yellow on the left, and the slightly different colored yellow is the Iberians on the right. So if you have trouble telling them apart, yeah, me too. But here we go, naval invasion. Definitely don't want to go through the mountains. We'll just naval invade into the west part of, I keep calling them Iberia. I hope I'm calling that correctly. It's what was Spain and Portugal. They got merged. So we're going to comfortably land those naval invasions. While we also head into Russia. Our plan, rather obviously, is to try to pocket that Soviet Poland and that whole Soviet area, so motorized troops will come in from the north, which was kind of a foolishness because of, I guess, the forest and the snow. while other troops were coming from the south. Lend-lease. Never stop lend-leasing. That Tibetan leader seems a little bit perturbed by being asked for lend-lease when I've got so many factories, but he is accepted. He is chosen. I guess he understands the righteousness of our peacekeeping operations. We're also going to head into China. We're the yellow on the south. They're the yellow on the right. This one I think I can tell apart. I hope you can too. China is in the same faction as Russia, as is Iberia. So we need to take all of them out if we want to free the parts of Africa controlled by Iberia. There we are, just about to take care of Iberia. Yes, we got a little encirclement, but it's no big deal. We have quite a bit of force there. The Iberian Socialist Union is what they've called themselves. Oh, pretty cool. That frees up a lot of divisions to head east. And there it is. Finally, that nice pocket, and particularly with the troops freed up from Iberia, we should be able to make some great headway against this. You can call them the Soviet Union or the Russia, but I think it's SSSR. Meanwhile, we've got some adventures in Africa. A nice view of that big pocket we've got. Looks like there's an Italian troop lost to nowhere, and there's another Italian troop lost to nowhere. Not sure how that works, but no big deal. Alright, so somehow I've got a stability at war negative modifier of 40%. That's because somehow I find myself in a defensive war. As I mentioned this earlier in earlier episodes, even though we go against on offensive wars, the game has decided I'm in a defensive war, so it gave me that negative 20% stability modifier. No big deal. At this point, it doesn't really matter. Pay attention, you new players. This is known as the Grand Battle Plan of stupidity here. I'm kind of an idiot there with how I built my Grand Battle Plans, but primarily I just want to build front lines and planning bonuses so we can just push east. Here in the middle of 1943, Russia still has troops, so we're going to still pocket and still go after them piece by piece. We're starting to see larger and larger gaps. Meanwhile, we head into China, we're finally starting to see potential daylight. They still can cover every bit of the line, and there's mountains and there's some supply issues, so we'll just take it however we can and just continue to move it along up the ports. Look at those subs. Yes, I did lose 6 subs, but I'll trade that for 5 Japanese ships. It's going to make it that much easier when we do our naval invasion of Japan to have naval superiority. I know. Sorry, little yellow submarines. You did good. We're also going to sink convoys and do other sorts of damage as well. Snake. Okay, that was a little bit foolish, but no real loss because Russia can no longer cover their fronts as we just about give it a... There they go. They capitulate. Notice the little dots of Chinese troops here and there. That's pretty cool. Well, this is going to be the last of that faction. Once we take out China, we'll go to the peace conference, and then we just have to take out Japan, and then we can call it a day. Great job, guys. Just keep heading north into... Okay, no, I don't... Why didn't China go to the peace conference? That doesn't make any sense. There's another China, but... okay, so Japan, I have to take out Communist China and Japan. Okay, let's go to work on them. And Qing China? Qing China is now the faction leader? No big deal. We'll take care of it. Our naval invasion into Japan, very strong. These are our most powerful troops, so we're able to land. Look at the breakthrough. Great attack. We're going to land. We are not going to capitulate Japan, though. We just want to bring them to the edge. Oh, the powerful Ethiopian fleet. Who would have imagined 7 years ago we'd be fielding a fleet and sinking 50 plus, 60 plus, or maybe 50 plus Japanese ships? Oh, so impressive. I'm proud of you, fellas. I'm very proud of you. No one would have guessed. So again, as we head south, we're going to be careful not to capitulate Japan. We want to force Russia and company to go down first, and then immediately after finish off Japan. We're just about to take out Qing China, just moving through, and no, that's not possible. What? Okay, Mongolia. Tick, tick, tick. Okay, we'll just take them down one by one. I don't care if we have to take out all of them. We're going to take out Tanatuva, Sinkiang if we need to. And here's Mongolia. Maybe they will bring us to the peace conference. And they do. Awesome. 56% of war score. That's plenty. My biggest goal is to make sure no countries are liberated. And we comfortably do that. I don't really care so much if the other faction takes states because we're just about to capitulate Japan, which brings us to the peace conference. And with that, we can take every state that they took in the conference. I hope that makes a little bit of sense. Peace at last, peace at last. All of Africa is free. The colonizers have been taken out, and even some non-colonizers. Sorry, United States, but you joined the Allies. Sorry, Venezuela. I know I had to pick up some other countries along the way. I hope you enjoy living under our gracious rule. We'll treat you right. Austria and Switzerland fight on in a never-ending war with no hope of success. Well, this is a lot of fun. I just really enjoyed it. I really enjoy playing unusual nations. Fascist Ethiopia is a relatively rare nation because of its focus tree, but still a lot of fun. It was a blast. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned maybe a little bit about how to play different types of nations. Well, thank you very much for watching.